Hello everyone, I'll be teaching us how to draft a basic bodice, very simple and straightforward. So you'll be needing the following measurements. You will need your bust circumference, your waist circumference, and you also need your shoulder, your bust span measurement. You also need your armhole circumference. So to know how to get all these measurements, you refer to my measurement video that I'm going to be linking in the description box below. Then you also need your shoulder to your bust, shoulder to your under bust, your shoulder to your waist. This is both for the front and back. You also need your under bust circumference, and that will be all. This is the measurements we're going to be using to draft our basic bodice. So the basic bodice technique I'll be teaching us today, the bust dart technique, to determine the width of my fabric. So I'm going to use the largest measurement that I have. I'm going to use my largest measurement, which is my bust. Between your bust and your waist, you have to look for the biggest circumference, and that circumference I'm using is my circumference. So I'm going to do my bust circumference is 36. So I'm going to use half of that measurement plus extra 2 inches. Listen again. I'm going to use half of my bust circumference. My bust circumference is 36. I'm going to use half of it, which is 18, and then I'm going to add 2 extra inches to this measurement, making it 20. So I'm going to place my tape. I'll mark out 20 inches. I repeat same on this other part. I'll repeat the same measurement, which is also 20 inches. So I'm just going to draw in a straight line like this, connecting both points. So the next line I'm going to draw is the length. So length is my front length. So my front length is 15.5. So I'm just going to place my tape here and mark out 15.5. 15.5. That's my front length, 15.5. So for the bust dart technique, we have our front length and our back length are not the same because of our bust. So with this difference, my front length is 15.5, my back length is 14 inches. So I have a difference of 1.5 inches. So what I'm just going to do right now is I'll try to further divide this line again so that I can have my front and my back separate. So I'm going to further divide this line, which is 10 inches here, and also do the same here, 10 inches. So this area becomes my center front. This area becomes my center front, and this area becomes my center back, which is your CB. So since I've divided the lines together, I'm just going to connect both lines together. So I hope we can see the lines clearly. So I'm going to take in this a little bit more. That just keeps moving. So this is what we have. So now the difference between my back length is actually 14 inches. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to mark 14 inches, which is my back length, and then 14 inches as well here. And then I'll use that and connect this line together. So this is the back and this is the front. Now I'll start imputing my measurements. My shoulder to my bust, my shoulder to my under bust, my armhole. So half of my armhole, the first measurement I'm going to put is half of my armhole. Half of my armhole is 15 inches. Half of it is 7.5. So this is 7.5, and I'm going to put my shoulder to my bust is actually 9.5. My shoulder to my under bust is 12.5, and then this is my shoulder to my front length. So I'm going to draw this across as well. 7.5, 9.5, and 12.5. So remember that the armhole is also the same at the back, 7.5, and then we also have 7.5 on this part, right? So I'm going to connect these lines as drawn, then connect them. Once I'm done, so these are my lines. So you're seeing so many lines. This is my chest line. This is my chest line. This is my bust line. This is my under bust line. And this is my front waist length. So with these measurements now, the next thing we're going to impute is our shoulder measurements. So my shoulder is 14 inches. So half of it, I'm going to put half of that measurement here, which is 7. I'm going to do the same here, half of my measurement, which is 7. And then I'll connect the line. So I'll do the same for the back as well. So we connect the lines as well. We connect the lines, and we also connect this line as well. So with this, you're going to draw in your front neckline. The front neckline is 3 by 3, the width 3, the length 3. For the back, 3 by 1. Neck measurement, which is 3 by 3. So this is what I did, 3 by 3. So I'm just going to make sure I draw it across so I can have a perfect square. So, and then our shoulder slope. Because our shoulder is not straight, we have to slope it by 1 inch. So I did a shoulder slope of 1 inch here. So I'm going to draw this. I'm going to connect my perfect square. And then use this curvy part of my ruler to complete this. So look at what I'm doing. So I dragged it down for you to see what I'm doing. So I'm connecting this point and this other point as well. So this is what I'm doing. And this is how the curve for the neck is. So I'm just going to use this and draw it across as well to connect to the shoulder slope. I hope you can see clearly everything that I have outlined. Then for the back, I said 3 by 1. So the width has to be the same. And then connect. And watch the way I'm going to draw this. So I'm going to still tilt down my ruler and connect this as well. So this is how the back neckline looks. So we're going to start imputing our measurements before I draw in my armhole. So for my bust circumference is actually 36. So I'm going to divide it by 4. I'm going to divide it by 4. Mind you, this my measurement has a little bit of ease, so I'm not going to add 0.5. But if your measurement does not have any form of ease, please add 0.5. So my measurement actually has a little bit of ease, and that's why it's 36. My waist circumference is 28, and quarter of this measurement is going to give me 7. So I'll mark out my 7 inches, and I'm going to include that on this basic bodice. So I'm using a dart of 1.5 inches. It can be used between 1 inch to 1.5 to even 2 inches, but 1.5 gives me a better fit. So I did quarter of my waist circumference, which is 7 plus 1.5. So I'm going to connect this line to the chest line. So this is my measurement, so you can use yours. So this is it. So after I've done this, I'm going to repeat the same at the back as well. But my back is going to have my tightening. I'm going to tighten it at the back to avoid any form of bulge, because our back is not straight. The human body, the back is not straight. So you have to slant your back a bit to avoid any form of bulge when you fix your zip, so that your back lays flat. So I'm going to use, you can use between 0.5 to 1 inch, depending on how the person's spine is as at the back. So I'm going to mark out, I'm going to do 0.75 at the back to tighten. I'm just going to draw this line here. Remember what I did to get this point. I just found out the midpoint from this chest line to the nape of the neck, and the midpoint was where I connected this. So from this now, plus my 1.5, which will make it 8.5. This is what we're going to get. So this is how it looks. This is how it looks. So after marking this measurement, before I go into putting my darts, I'm going to draw the armhole. So for me, I'm going to divide this point together from the shoulder slope to the chest line. I have 6.5. So I'm going to get half of this measurement and find the midpoint here. Now, I'm meant to come in by 0.75, but if you're a plus size, you can do ½ inch. But I like coming in by 0.75. But if you're a plus size, from 40 above, you can do 0.5 so that you don't get the curve of your armhole going in so much. And then I did 0.75 at the mid armhole. For the back, you're going to do ½ inch. If you're a plus size, from let's say from 40, do 0.5 here and nothing here, right? So you're going to connect your curve from this point to this point. But if you are just my size, bust 36, bust 38, 32, you can as well do this. So I'm just going to use my ruler and connect from here with my straight line to meet the point that I marked, which is here. And then I'll do the same thing as well here at the back. Hope you can see what I'm doing at the back. Then I'm going to use my curve ruler and just watch what I'm doing. I had to bring it down so you can see how I placed my curved ruler. So I'm just going to slightly draw this curve so that it touches this point and touches this point as well. You can see what I'm doing. It touches quarter of my bust. So I'm just going to do it so that the curve looks smooth. So this is it. So you see, I got a smooth curve. So I'm going to do the same at the back as well. Remember, this is where our measurement is. So I'm just going to use this and draw a smooth curve for the back. So we're almost done with our basic bodice, but what is left is our darts. So for you to impute your darts, you have to put in this is where your nipple to nipple or bust span measurements comes in. Now, all these measurements I've been mentioning, you can find how to take these measurements in the description box below. So I'm going to mark your bust span measurements. I'm going to divide my bust span, which is 7. I'm going to divide it into 2 because the center front is going to be on fold. And when you open it up, it's going to give you 7. So I'm going to mark 3.5 because my bust span is 7 inches. I'm dividing it by 2. So this is 3.5 for my bust span. Remember, I added 1.5 inches for my dart. So what you're going to do is you're going to distribute this 1.5 between these points. So meaning half of 1.5 is 0.5. So I'm going to put 0.5 to this point and put 0.5 towards the center front as well. Right? So I'm going to mark the same thing on my bust line as well, the 3.5 on my bust point. So I'll use my ruler and connect these lines together as well. So with this, I'm just going to come down by 1 inch here because your dart does not have to get to your bust point. For people that are plus sizes, bigger sizes, come down by 1.5. So I'm just going to connect this point to the 1 inch below my bust point, my bust line, right? So this is it. This is my dart. Now, I just want to be done with all the darts in the front. This is a bust dart technique, meaning we said that the front length is longer than the back length. So this is a difference from here to here. This is the difference. So the difference between my front and back length, after my measurement, I got 15.5 for my front. I got 14 inches for my back. So that means the difference is 1.5. So on this bust line, I'm going to come down by that value, which is 1.5. Then I'm just going to connect this straight to this point. If you're trying to make a gown that doesn't have your armhole princess dart or anything, make sure you come back. Like you don't get your bust dart will not have to get to your bust point. So you can take it back by 1 inch. If you're plus size, take it back by 1.5. So if we close up this dart right now, it's going to align with this length from here to here because this area is not needed. This area of this pattern is not needed. It's just a clear indication of what the difference between your front and back length is. So I have imputed this difference as my bust dart. So for the back, I'm going to also impute the darts for the back as well. So now we're not going to start from the original center back line. We're going to start from the slanted line. So the slanted CB. So we're going to I've imputed all of this. So I'm going to impute half of my bust span, which is 3.5 here from this slanted line, not the straight CB. So I added 1.5 as well. So I'm going to distribute this 0.75 here, 0.75. So this dart is going to get to the chest line. It's going to get to 1 inch before the chest line. I'm going to draw this. So I'm just going to take from here, the center back. What I have is 4.25. Draw a straight line. But remember, I said the line is going to be faint. So I said my bust, this is my chest line. So I'll connect these points together. The basic bodice is a foundational block that other things can be gotten. So this is your back dart, this is for the front. So with this, you can successfully make a bodice, a dress that you can wear and all of that. So this is how it is. So this is how our block is. So with subsequent videos that require me using the basic bodice, I'll be using this. This is called basic bodice 1 bust dart technique. I'm also going to be showing you a simplified Nathaniel Brace method that also gives you perfect fit. Whether you're using the bust dart technique or you're using the simplified Nathaniel Brace technique, it will give you the same fit. It will give you the same results. So if you have any question concerning the basic bodice block, you can drop under the comment section and I'll answer your questions. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to comment down below. Thank you. Till we see you again next time.